Hello and good morning to you. Welcome to this Walls and Ceilings video cast. My name is John Wyatt. I'm editor with Walls and Ceilings. And it is my honor today to be joined by Chad Dupree. Now, if you guys recall, Diversified Plastering down in the great city of Houston, correct, Chad?
Yes, sir.
All right. They were on the cover of our July issue, and we got a lot of great feedback. And this is just a chance to kind of catch up with Chad, because really, Chad, when we last were in discussion, I think it was basically in the spring. As we all know, magazine publishing, we kind of work, a couple months out in advance. So it's been a hot minute, Chad. So I want to start off going back to something we didn't discuss in the article, which was basically your great storm of 2021 that happened in Texas, which really crippled a lot of the state, if I'm not mistaken. So would you tell us what that was like?
I guess the beginning of February, I know it really hurt the acrylic part of it because it froze Dow Chemical down here in Houston, and it stopped the chain of acrylics being produced and getting finishes and paints and everything else. Yeah, it really hurt. But during that, it was the middle of February, happened to actually be my birthday it was around the 16th, and I had contracted COVID, and I was down and out for at least 2 weeks. My wife and daughter quarantined me, stuck me in a room, and left me alone. And I didn't even know it snowed in Houston, which is very rare. But it froze everything. God blessed it. I didn't have pipes break or anything like that. So we were very lucky. As work, everything just shut down. It was kind of hard to come back, and we're still reeling from not being able to get our supplies and finishes and material costs and everything still going up, but and trying to even out. It was certainly something that Houston's definitely not ready for is the winter part. We can do hurricanes and we can do rain, but that freezing, there's nobody down here that's ready for that one.
No, because it happens just few and far between, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
Maybe you get a cold snap up in Dallas, Denton area, but down in Houston, it's quite unique for you. So professionally, did that affect Diversified's HQ or the guys on the job? I assume for a couple of days, everyone was just kind of landlocked.
Oh yeah, I mean, we were down for a good week. Everything was shut down. Either the workers had pipes break and they were trying to get their family back up, get the lights back on, get the drywall repaired from all the water damage in their home. So yeah, we had to. It was difficult, and we got a good group of guys, so we was able to make it through it.
Well, for, I guess, you personally, that sounds like an awful way to really start the new year. I mean, just a month and a half in, and you got, you've contracted this, this virus that's basically impacted the whole world.
It's like the year before, it comes in there and then COVID hits, and then the following year, everybody's thinking, all right, 2021, it's a new year, let's kind of move on, and then bam, and then it's just down. And it's kind of, I guess you got to learn to roll with them, I guess.
Well, you certainly look healthy and sound healthy. How has your life been post, COVID or post getting the virus?
Oh, actually, it wasn't fun, but it was a tough one to get through. But I'm healthy, I guess. I'm glad I looked that way anyway.
Well, certainly. And so beyond, I guess, this period of time, and when you guys finally found your feet back after this and business resumed, tell me basically how the year's been fleshing out for you.
Well, going through after February and coming in through this summer, Diversified had 17 schools on our board. And one thing that we've learned.
Now, you mean projects by schools?
Projects,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
17 school projects that were on the board. And one thing I do know is kids are going to come down that hallway come middle of August, end of August, no matter what. either finished or not. And it was stressful to get through that summer, or this past summer. It was work never slowed down, but it was a lot to get. I had more a harder time trying to keep up with channel iron, my materials, and the cost that we probably bid these jobs over a year ago, and now they're coming in, and not being able to acquire everything was it was difficult. I was borrowing material from some of our competitors that in TLPCA, there's some nice little niche here that even though we compete against each other, we're able to call each other and help each other out at time of need. And I got a lot of help from some members of the association.
So more or less, you're talking, you got half a year to basically work on these 17 schools, right?
Yes.
Well,
yeah, we had to get in there and get out. Some of them remodels, but most of them were all new projects.
Well, I suppose that sounds like a good problem to have. So congratulations on that. Did you meet all the scheduled timetables that were set?
Absolutely. I even Diversified even received a letter of thank you from a general contractor, which really never happens very often. That they say, thanks for helping us out. That was nice to receive.
Well, that's something you should be framing on the wall, right?
Oh, I'm definitely framing.
You can put that on the resume. When we last reported on the company, you said business is going strong, and obviously with 17 schools, and it sounds like those have all been completed successfully. Where are you at today?
Well, right now I've got 18 of them on that I'm going to have to start gearing up now for. That's from now until next August that are already on the board. We tend to fall into that range of government work or state work that falls in that range. Channel iron ceilings and suspended ceiling work, it's kind of a rare thing now, and we still do that. We advocate for it. We try to make sure that we keep it in the lath and plastering part, opposed to drywall, and just to stay within code for the way to plaster on a ceiling. So with that being said, I got 18 of them that I'm excited to get to and try to keep our guys trained to be able to do it.
Now, just for those listeners unfamiliar with you guys, would you just quickly tell us the scope of services you provide?
We do eaves work, interior work, pyrock.
When you say interior, do you mean ceilings and drywall or insulation?
We used to be Diversified Drywall, but we don't compete with the drywall guys anymore. More interior plaster type work, specialty finishes, Venetians, just kind of that type of stuff, more the finished part of it.
So in the interview that we had, it was pretty cool, but we asked, anywhere in the world would you like to go to? And you had dropped that you'd like to go to Italy. And I was curious, was that to basically check out the old world style of plastering? So would it be for an educational as much as recreational?
Oh, absolutely. Look at the way the old style used to be. Just growing up in a plastering family with my uncles, my grandfather, and everybody else, they kind of like to take the old world style with the new technology and new products that kind of mimic that. But you kind of, what we're mimicking without being able to see it up hand and close the way it really was done. I want to try to do it the best that I know how.
Well, that's certainly a niche service that even a lot of exterior plasters, I don't know a great deal that also, I'm sure there are loads, probably more than I'm giving credit for, that also do interior plaster work. So, but let us be clear, you probably don't do too much residential, if at all, right?
Not a whole lot, more higher end residential, not tract home type things. The money's not there that they put in their budget, but on a higher end remodel and something like that, I love to do it. But I got a big competitor here in Houston that gets the majority of it.
Gotcha. So you're a big family business, and if I recall, two families kind of joined together to um, build what today is Diversified Plastering. Am I correct on that?
Oh,
It started by,
absolutely. Yeah. Joe and Dale started in 1977. They were part of the local, I think 224 in the Lathers local. My grandfather, he actually had a beer joint on Washington Avenue here in Houston. That he was an old plasterer. That if he was a plasterer coming into Houston in the 50s and the 60s, he would actually help you get a job, kind of like a hiring hall. He would cash it. He would actually cash their check. They would spend it there with him, so he did it for a reason. But and it kind of became kind of a staple in our family, with my uncles and hiring out of there, and it's always continued on. When Diversified started, they called it Divorcified because either you're divorced, going through a divorce, or gonna get a divorce if you work here at Diversified. I mean, it's comical then, and yeah, and it happened to my dad and my mom, but for everything happened for the right reasons.
I suppose a lot of that has to do with the demands of the job, right? So
The stress, yeah.
what is Diversified's reach? So basically, what's your parameter that will you go to Galveston? Will you go up to Austin? How far do you venture out?
I kind of stay out of Austin. A long time ago, they would take the center of downtown and do an 80-mile radius, but we'll go to College Station, which is further out. Really don't go. Been to San Antonio, but a lot of times being part of the association, my father was president in 97. Dale was president 94, 5, something like. We kind of stayed in contact with those guys in Austin and in Dallas or whatever. And instead of me going there, we try to pass the job along and, hey, and recommend people from the association.
So for our listeners, I believe Chad's referring to Texas Lathing and Plastering Association.
Yeah, the TLPCA. I'm sorry about
TLP. Yeah, most of us know who they are, and certainly they put on a great show every year. What is going on with their executive director position? Has that been filled, or is Eddie still?
Eddie is taking care of it right now, and he's doing a wonderful job. He's trying to. We went through a period when I was on the board and everything without an executive director. Kind of brought everything back up. Now Eddie is in there, and he's kind of taking hold of it, and doing a very good job.
Well, I always liked Eddie, and glad to see he kind of returned the fold because he took another position elsewhere. But the bummer is Yvonne retired a few years ago, correct?
Yvonne did retire, right post-COVID or prior to COVID. She kind of went through there. I think on her last year, I was outgoing president, and that was going to be her last year. And she stayed on for one more year to help us through the convention and make sure the handoff to Eddie and everything went smoothly. And it worked out for the best. I'm happy for her. That woman was a backbone.
Yeah, definitely an unsung hero. So if she's listening, shout out to her for sure. So where will 2022's show take place? Are there any details on this yet?
On which one now?
Their summer event, the summer convention.
Yeah, but I don't know right offhand. I'm not sure what they nailed down. I think the worst part about becoming president, I started on the board in 2006 and went all the way through. And then once you become president and then past president, you kind of, I don't want to say you fade off. It's up to you to kind of stay in it. But I've kind of concentrated the past year and a half trying to make sure that my primary job still stays successful.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to juggle, especially when you take on pro bono kind of positions like that. But we thank you for your service there, and I'm sure the people of Texas enjoy having you on. You certainly have it together. Hey, Chad, what are the biggest challenges facing the company today for you in particular?
Materials. I mean, materials have just been, the metal materials skyrocketed. If I have a job that was bid a year ago and then now materials have, it's 50% higher. That's it. And I've already got a signed contract. So, I have to honor it. And in trying to make that up, it becomes difficult. Just in acrylics, like I said, the freeze messed everything up. I think it's coming back on. Talking to suppliers that we have now, Pyrex, Drive It, suppliers like that, they're seeing the influx. They're getting their materials now. Prices are still up, but that's the hardest thing in keeping trained guys. To be honest with you,
That was my next question, was the labor shortage.
yeah, Houston tried a HPCA, Houston Plaster Contractors, to have an apprentice program. My uncle was the plastering guy trying to teach people to use a trial and this, not just, okay, I'm a plaster because you can put mud on a wall. There's an art to it. And making sure that we have them. Like I said earlier, we still do channel iron sealing work, and having proper ladding and being able to do that type of work, they're kind of hard to find. Trying to keep them trained. And my superintendent, 72 years old, and getting his knowledge to these new guys, it becomes a task.
Where do you find people? Through the apprenticeship schools, or just basically friends of friends that they start off as laborers, and then if they're good, then they just kind of build up from there?
Absolutely. They can start out as somebody that's mechanically inclined and they want to learn and want to build and do something. I mean, it's pretty awesome what you can do with channel iron, and then see it as a complete product after the lad's up and the plaster's done. It's awesome. But yeah, it's friends of friends, and we try to keep them in there. I would love to be able to give them a whole lot more money, but the bids dictate what I'm able to do and what the market bears.
Next year, if my math is correct, is going to be your 45th anniversary as a company. Does that math sound right? If you started in 77, something like that. Any special plans, or do you just kind of save it the 40th anniversary, the 50th anniversary?
Oh man, year to year, it's all good from 44 to 45 to 40. I'm happy to be here. Joe and Dale had they left Diversified in around 2008 when the market kind of went down, and just kind of left me with receivables and some working capital, and say, well, here we go. We're going to sink or swim, and we can look today. And as long as they're still happy, I'm happy, because I enjoy doing it.
Well, you seem to be doing a great job. As we wrap things up real quick, what is your workforce number right now, office and field collectively? You're around 100 people?
Right under. We kind of fluctuate like anything else. Coming into winter, it kind of comes down at this time, and in the summers we get up to 100 and over. After 100, it's hard to keep track of qualified people. I do know that. I don't want to just do head count to make a general contractor happy. They got to be. I want the quality that I demand, really.
No, that's a concern all across the board for sure. So, at this point, yeah, as we wrap this up, I wanted to give you an opportunity to basically, bring something up that Walls and Ceilings hasn't been talking about, or the industry. Is there anything you want to add?
I read your magazines, and as a young kid, my dad used to always give me techniques and comments, and I used to learn a whole lot through techniques and comments. I still got a drawer full of them about the industry, and no, I think you guys are doing a great job. I read it. I wish it was still in print. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, print's always a great thing to have, but we're certainly excited about the look of our e-issue. So for those of us, or for those of you that are listening, go to wconline.com and hit the subscribe button. We can get you on the circulation each month, so you get a pop-up email to read it and all that. But regardless, Chad, thanks for being a faithful reader. Thanks for taking the time to work with us on just a killer project, which is the cover story. And, it's an honor to profile you guys.
It was an honor to be selected, even looked at. The owners were very, very happy, and that's what makes me proud. I really appreciate you guys just even taking time with us, not just so much me doing it with you. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. And to those listening, thanks so much for taking the time to join Chad and I. And for now, that's a sign off. So thanks again. And until next time, take care.